Okay, now I get the message. Awesome. So sorry for the technical difficulties. We're having the technical difficulties. So let's make this very engaging at the beginning. Do you mind if I introduce Ingrid?
Go for it.
Hello,
Go
people.
for it.
We are having our 29th conversation, Freedom Warrior Conversations. 29 conversations we've had so far, like this one, the one we're going to have today. And it's been quite a ride, quite the adventure. And this session, we're speaking about the earth element. Ingrid is a sky watcher. She is a astrologer, and she is bringing in the vision of a new world, of a new humanity. And she's accompanying that with the wisdom of the I Ching, the different cosmologies from different cultures around the world. And one of them is astrology. So astrology is important. And so we're starting the spring, and last session we talked about leaving the water element, leaving winter, and now entering spring. So we're going to talk about what that means and how that can reflect into the ushering in of a new humanity. So I'm pretty happy to be here. I'm Julian Catari. This is Ingrid Huffman, and we have started. Please take a seat, be comfortable. We're going to be here for a while, and listening to this wisdom always requires patience. So please have patience with us. So how are you doing, Ingrid, besides the technical difficulties?
I had a wonderful day. Yesterday we got rain, and more rain.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and
here we're having the dry season.
Beautiful.
That's awesome that you get some rain.
Oh, we haven't had rain like we had yesterday since last May.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I think our drought is probably over now.
That's good to hear. So the spring is bringing in warm temperatures and it's bringing in rain. What other blessings can we expect?
Oh, it's supposed to freeze on Thursday night again.
Okay.
So winter is still, the winter water spirit is still receding. So it's a little inaccurate to say I'm an astrologer because I'm not. I don't follow Western astrology. I'm watching the sky and creating my own version of astrology. I'm kind of creating an astronomical astrology that actually ties us to what's happening in the sky, because Western tropical astrology doesn't. It ties us to a computer model that's over 2,000 years old.
Okay, that's very important to say.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
So there's 5 elements in the Chinese theory, and they didn't know what they wanted to, they were trying to figure out how to equate it to the 4 directions. And so they put the earth element in the middle because the earth is the access point. And then they said, well, that doesn't quite work. So let's just toss the earth element in at the end of summer, call it Indian summer. But as I've been studying, it seems to make more sense to bring the earth element in. One Chinese practitioner said the last 18 it was not recent, it was, this is a couple thousand years old, to bring the earth element in at the last 18 days of every season. So then I was like, well, then why limit it to the last 18 days of every season? It seems like it would be the last 18 days plus the first 18 days. So the earth element is kind of our pivot point. So we've got winter receding. The spring element is wood. but we're pivoting from water to wood, from winter to spring, and the earth element is the axis, and this is, so we're kind of in the hallway, shifting from winter to spring, while the spring element wave is definitely rolling in. We're still in the pivot point.
Okay, and what is this? What
So
can you tell us about how this reflects into our societal development, or the happening of the spirit in the spirit of time?
well, it is, I'm looking at this as a way to unite heaven and earth in us, right? To fulfill our destiny, which is the unification of heaven and earth. So we become a primal force of creation with Mother Earth and Father Sky. So the earth spirit is, its virtues are integrity, intention, clear thought, and devotion. And the earth as the axis, the center point processes all that comes to it. So in our bodies, it shows up is governed by our stomach and our spleen, because our stomach is like the great kitchen. It receives all the incoming nourishment and then sends it to the spleen, and the spleen processes it and adds to our Jing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a centering. It's so the water element is a drawing in, a drawing down, a kind of a downward movement. The earth element is just a center spinning on its axis, coming to your center, figuring out, who you are as the garment of God. And it kind of, when it's imbalanced in us, it kind of shows up in obsessive thinking. We can't get out of one track of thought. That's an imbalance in our earth element. And reciprocity is one of the virtues, which is very interesting. Last week I was talking about how, there's all kinds of computerized tests you can take to figure out what your elemental constitution is, which means what is the color of basically the glasses you see life through, or like the window tinting on your vehicle. That's what your main constitution is. And as I've been studying this, it's like, well, let's just look at the time of year somebody's born. So take, for instance, me, I'm born January 3. That puts me right in the pivot point. If winter starts with the December solstice, I'm right there pivoting water and earth, right? From metal and earth into water and earth. So I'm very strongly earth element. Absolutely. And it's kind of really interesting that reciprocity is one of the values, given that I've just really shifted Owl Freedom Nation into the ethos of Aini reciprocity, which is the ancient spiritual nature-based subsistence living.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of an example to show how working with these elements, how as you're fulfilling your destiny, they just come into play, because that's kind of been my goal when I first started hearing the term Aini from Don Oscar Miro Quesada and Dr. Alberto Villoldo. it really registered, and I had no clue that that was my earth element, that that was my main driving force, so to speak, along with the water of winter. And
Right.
I wasn't paying any attention to that. So since we've been here in Indianola, I've had nothing but water issues, because the water spirit was trying very, very, very hard to get a hold of my attention and say, listen, you need to understand that I'm one of your strong, I'm right there with earth in you.
Mhm.
I'm the filter you see life through, along with the earth element. So as I was saying last week, each element has its own rhythm. The water rhythm is a 2-beat rhythm. It's life and death, right? The rhythm of earth is a continuous rhythm that empowers us to find stability. There's no beats, or it's just a continuous, steady rhythm. And the life thesis of the earth element is integrating and distributing what is nourishing to life in a way that is presided over by the virtues of integrity and reciprocity. So if we think about is the stomach official, you have a classic example of reciprocity, right? Stomach gives and receives and gives, receives and gives, receives and gives. Receives
Right.
food, gives it up, passes it on, doesn't hold on to anything. If it's imbalanced and it does, there's a problem.
So what
So
we've been talking about lately a lot about the computer model. I really like the fact that you're bringing that into attention, and how we're seeing how everything is being everything we consider reality is really only a projection of a computer model. Since we have these computer models that they're using it for everything, and I mean, we know that a computer can calculate better than we can, so we place our trust in the computers to make these models about what can happen, be it with weather, be it with they're using it for biology, they're using it for species distribution, conservation, or whatever. And but these models are wrong. I mean, we had a hard time logging in right now to this live stream, and who can tell me in the audience here that has had a flawless experience with their machines, with their computers, their phones, you know, with no problems, no, it doesn't exist.
no,
So, you know, I really feel that computers are still very far from being really developed, or these imperfections. So how can we place so much? You know, how can we make our bets into these models and just think that they're correct, when in fact they're not. They make a lot of mistakes. They you know, you sent me this video about the nanotechnologies, and they're not considering the fact that maybe these technologies are not working. The 5G technology in connection to whatever they injected into people, yeah, they did that, but then is it working? Is it all working? Is, you know, I think life is just so much more complex and impossible to recreate in a computer.
well, you
And
can't, because a computer has to take everything and break it down into blocks, right? It has
yeah,
these blocks, and this is, so it's, I heard the term today. Let me pattern formation thinking, pattern formation programming. That's what they do. It's a linear equation of pattern formation. So let's say this is why DARPA's the Cheyenne Mountain, the supposedly the controller of all in this bunker in the mountains in Colorado. Every time the moon rises, it wants to send a missile out because it's detecting it as a incoming hostile thing, but it's just simply the moon rising. And there's no way you can adapt that into the computer. So it's the same thing. This pattern formation programming says it's a chair with 4 legs. So, and a person sitting on the chair with 4 legs, but it might be a horse in reality. It might be a donkey. It might be something else, but the computer block says it is a chair with 4 legs and a person sitting on it. This is how, and we're just so disconnected. We follow these linear programs. We've turned everything into a dead holographic computer byte, and we think that everything is modeled on that. And that's what I keep saying is, it's good to hear what the boys behind their video screens are playing and trying to, our would-be controllers with their computer models. It's a good thing to understand this, and we need to understand that this is how they're working, but we also need to understand that they're working off of a totally dead nothing. Just
just a model that can be totally wrong.
Right.
And there's, if somebody doubts this, I just saw a really good example of this is like a totally something you can totally check by yourself, which is the Boeing. I know they have a documentary on Netflix where about the Boeing situation, the Boeing drop, the 2 MAX 737 MAX that fell out of the sky because of a new software thing that, I mean, obviously it has to do with the company policy and how they went Wall Street minded instead of security minded. But it still comes down to 300 people lost their lives because they trusted they put the controls of the plane to a computer, and so it didn't have this redundancy system where when the sensor broke, the attitude sensor broke, then the plane started, the computer said, okay, I don't know where I'm doing, so it just brought the plane down. It literally killed the people. The computer, I mean, we're seeing mankind placing their trust, their lives into the computer more than the pilot, and the pilot wasn't even able to override the computer wanting to bring down the plane. So that's a clear example. You can look at that, and I think that's just a really good example. And I think this ties a lot into the earth element, the fact that we probably said this before, but the earth, the reality we live in, the cosmos we're living in, and the planet Earth we live in, it's already a perfect machine, if you want to call it that. I don't like calling it that.
A perfect living system. It's a perfect living system.
Where you cannot, it's already filled with information. I mean, every single atom and every single molecule and cell, it's already a quantum computer by itself, right? so it's just stupid to try to reproduce that, you know, try to remodel it, recreate it inside of a computer when you know you can't. You would need a quantum system that is bigger or can fit more space than the quantum matrix itself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the biology by itself and the cosmos by itself, it's already the most elaborate system that you can ever have. So you can never make it better. You can never reproduce a better thing. You can. There's no machine that's ever gonna be better than that.
Well, and we think that way because we view Mother Earth as totally dead, as just a thing, right? Like a friend has said, I can't wait to get off this rock because we're the third rock from the sun, right?
Hmm.
Well, she's not a rock. She's a living, pulsing being that created us,
Right.
that kissed heaven and created us, right? Unified with heaven and created us and everything on her. And this is the big part with reciprocity, with Aini, is bringing forward the spiritual, nature-based subsistence living, where we're truly living with. We're not just living on her, we're living with her.
Right. And how that is what can bring you true wealth, true health, true happiness, true fulfillment. And everybody's just missing that. Everybody's missing that, and that's why they need to go into video games and they need to go into entertainment, and because they're not happy. That's why they want to leave here. But so this person should think the other way around, which is actually what I'm going to say is not easy. Sounds easy, but it's not. It's which is coming back to the rock or whatever word he used, coming back to Earth, because we are not in Earth, right? We're living in a system, a life system, with limited. I'm not going to say with none. We do have interaction with the Earth. We're still on the Earth, but we have a limited relationship with the Earth, right? We're inside of our.
Yeah, this person I was talking about has no relationship with Earth because he considers her dead, right? She's just a rock.
Right. So for example, I have a strong relationship with the Earth, with the mountains, with the planets, with the stars, the sun, with my plants outside. But still, I still feel quite limited because I'm limited by how much, you know, how I need to live. I can't, you know, I don't have lands here where I'm living here. I don't have anywhere to grow stuff. You know, I'm very limited, and to get and I want to have, you know, I realized, and I want to share a little bit about me. I've lived all my life, and I think this is relevant. I've lived in huge cities. I've lived in Mexico City. I've lived in La Paz, Bolivia. I lived in Santiago de Chile. I've you know, I lived in the US, in the United States. I lived in so many places, and so I've seen it, not all, but I've seen a sample of kind of all the different sized towns and lifestyles you can have. And my quest has always been to have a stronger connection with the earth, right? To be in nature, to be able to see wildlife, to be able to interact with wildlife, not and see how strong the pet thing is, and the you know, the need of people interacting with animals is. And so you have all these pets and all these pet issues. Here in Mexico, for example, it's a huge problem. Abandoned dogs, street dogs, because people have huge dogs in small houses, and it's just so many problems. But you have to understand the source problem is this need of connection with animals, the need of intimacy, right? We have a desperate need of intimacy, of connection with other beings, of
Right.
freedom, right? The freedom to change your schedule, to get up at a different time, to not sleep one night, to run around naked, to dive in the mud, to, I don't know. Yeah, all of these things are, I can't do them here. I can't be naked. I can't be seen naked. I mean, I can be naked in my room, right?
Yeah.
But you can't go outside naked. There's nowhere to swim. I need to swim. I need to have that, and it comes down to also I realized that my body was once used to living where I could swim in the sea. I once lived in the sea. I've lived near rivers before, and I really need this medium, which is not the earth, is the water, like being able to move my body freely in water. That's like a necessary thing, and it's something I don't have here. It's totally absent. I can shower and that's about it. If there's a little river here where I can go and put my feet in, but I can't swim in it. It's not deep enough. So there's all these things that only nature, and it's like paradise. It's like the best thing that we can strive for is the earth, right? That's like the top thing. That's like the paradise. We are here, and we're not here. We are on the earth, but we are living in a system that where we're not allowed to fully experience the all the beauty and amazingness and freedom that the earth naturally gives us.
Yeah, it's not so much that we're not allowed to, it's that we've been programmed to believe that she's not a part of our life, that she's dead, and we're here to dominate her, and we don't have to fit in. And we're here, this is why we have too big of dogs in apartments, because they're, again, things we can have, right?
Right. So
and then we don't realize that taking on like a dog is a lifetime commitment, because they're with us for 10 years at least. A small lap dog is with us for 20 years. That's like raising a child, and we don't see that as a living entity. Everything is just dead. We're the only living beings on this planet. So this is why so what does the earth element have to do with freedom? Well, when you can tune into your own earth element, because we all have all 5 elements, all 5 spirits guiding us on our destiny journey, it gives you the freedom to tune into yourself and be who you are and not be run by the programming.
But then there's also,
it gives you the freedom to fulfill your destiny instead of living fate, which is fatal, because if you're living fate, you're going to die when you're programmed to die.
Which now that program is changing, and they're making it so it comes sooner.
Yeah.
And there's all these new diseases that you're now gonna suffer because, hey, it's the agenda. It's now part of their programs now.
Well, and here's the thing is, Julian, if that video I sent you, if you didn't catch the attorney saying it's all about the ICD-9 code, this is what we have to get through to ourselves, is it's all about a code. it may not be, there may not be any new diseases, but they have coded new diseases so that when you go in to see your doctor because you think you have, you're experiencing a symptom, you will now get coded a new code that ties into a new disease. It's all about computer codes. It's all about a dead earth, dead human hologram. And if you buy into the code and the diagnosis that's given you, then your lifespan has just decreased by exponentially.
Right. And it's so difficult to it seems simple. You make it sound simple, I think. And I think it's really complex to let go of all this programming and this world, which is the only world we see around us.
It's a challenging concept to grasp. It really is. It's taken me a couple of years to really grasp it, but now that I'm grasping it more and more, it's becoming more and more clear how we don't have to be sick if we don't want to, but we're programmed to be sick. We're programmed to be separate from our true God self, our true Tao self, our true, whatever you want to call the source.
Mm-hmm.
Source of all, the swirling vortex of all that creates all. We truly are. And when you live in Aini with that, in harmony with that, you're even protected from traumatic accidents. This is why the ancient subsistence economy life livers didn't really ever have traumatic accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They didn't need the ER. They didn't need to. And we say, well, look how far we've come. Well, you have to understand that a doctor only gets experience by experimenting on people. So how did we become wonderful trauma surgeons? By creating wars so we could see what explosives do to people's body and then put them back together again, or what fire does to a body. It's all deliberate. When you live in Aini, fulfilling your destiny, you're protected from everything. To live in freedom and live without fear of, oh my God, am I going to break a leg if I ride this horse, or am I,
Yeah, you can't live your life like that. You can't.
But so many, oh my God, I need insurance. If I go to your farm, I need insurance because I might fall, or you need insurance to protect me because I might fall and stub my toe or scratch my nose. And on that note, I didn't put this ranch escapade on Facebook. I think it was right before Christmas on one of our cold winter snaps. Alexis had found a new goat she wanted to bring home. So we drove the 2.5 hours to pick up this goat, and we put her in the cab of the truck because it was really cold. Mm-hmm. And so on the way home, she put her head over the seat and nibbled on my earlobes and stuff, right? So she became pretty attached to us. She's like a pet. Well, so we turn the goats out to go forage in the woods. And the first time we turned them out, she was like, yeah, no, this is too much freedom. No, I don't know what to do with this. So she comes right back to the pen. Well, since then, she walks out with me when I turn the goats out, but she comes back to the pen with me. Right? And then she stands in the pen and cries because she's lonely. So Sunday, I turned the goats out and she goes out with them, and I'm like, yes, yes, she's finally becoming part of the herd. But she comes, the goats come back, and they come back through the donkey pen, and I'm opening the gate so they can come through, and I'm counting, I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's Tinker? Where's that goddamn city goat? There's an artesian creek running through on the west side of our property. She's on the hill across the artesian creek crying for me to come get her. So I wade through the creek, which is like this deep, right? I'm in flip-flops and shorts. And she's up on this hill, and in Oklahoma, we have this, what's called squaw vine, and it's got really sharp thorns on it. So I'm scrambling up this hill, pretty steep embankment, trying to show her how to come down. She took one step down, and then she's like, yeah, no, I don't do water. So I drug this goat the long way around, and she'd stop because of the briars. And here I am. She has a thick, hairy coat. She can't get harmed by the briars, but she's like, yeah, no, I don't do pokey things. No, I can't go through there. It's pokey. So I had to get behind her and push her through. I'm in my shorts and flip-flops. I had to drag this 130-pound goat back to the pen through the woods because she's a bloody city goat.
Oh my God.
She was used to living in a stall only. That's what I call a city goat. It's like she doesn't even know how to live in the wild herself. She's so domesticated. And I was yelling at her the whole time, you bloody frickin' city goat. If I had a pistol, I would kill you now. But this is how we are, Julian. We are actually like this city goat. We just don't, we get put in nature and we're like, yeah, no, too much freedom. Oh no, it's too slow. Oh no, it's too boring. Oh no, we can, 2 hours is good enough. Got to get back to the city.
Yeah.
Get back to my phone, get back to my life.
And that's the difficult, the difficult spell to break. I think that's because I mean, you're not going to die by coming back to nature. On the contrary, you're going to live. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be happier. You're going to be everything better. Everything's going to be better. But the programming is just so bad. But let's say that there's somebody in here that is already kind of beyond that, or understands everything we said, and they're liking this conversation because they can relate to us. They need to listen to this type of information of somebody. They need somebody else that thinks like them, and this criticism to the city mentality, to the technocrat society, to the domesticated human, it's necessary. And be it that you are on the receiving side or on the giving side, right? If you're on the giving side, you need somebody, you need to listen to somebody that is saying these things. But then what's next, right? We're still separated. We're still incomplete in the sense of there's so much more to do. There's the nations that need to be created, and I just think that you shouldn't be alone, Ingrid, and there has to be other people joining you and joining us. I mean, my nation is my village is on the extreme side of nature, right? In the Amazon, 70 kilometers from the nearest town. But your ranch is not your ranch. I mean, whoever says that you're too far or you're too deep into nature, I mean, you have electricity, you have internet, you have your place is a perfect transition hub, a perfect place to, you know, come closer to this new paradigm. And that's the other thing we need to say, Ingrid. It's most definitely the future is not this dystopian world that they've painted us with the whole time, and this mega technologically advanced society where machines do everything, and been seeing movies about that since the 70s, 80s, you know, and we think that's the future. We don't really imagine another future, another world. We cannot conceive a more advanced civilization that doesn't rely that much on this, and let's say it, crappy, useless technology. You don't need it. It's not doing any good. Right now, since everybody's trapped in it, then obviously we're going into this channels, into these, we're using this means, this medias to get to them, to send a message to them. But you still, your work is out there. Your attention is out there. You're you know, you're out there with the trees, with the animals, and your place is perfect for somebody to start doing that switch. If somebody wants to grow spiritually, if somebody wants to heal from something, that's what also needs to be said, Ingrid, is and said and repeated. This is the only solution, right? The only solution, be it to a PTSD diagnosis, be it to a drug use situation, right? Your offering, Owl Freedom Nation, is a better solution than anything you'll find out there. Any doctor, any specialized treatment facility that's gonna charge you a whole lot of money, all that is, it can help a little bit, yeah, it can maybe help some, but it's not solving the problem from underneath. And that's what you saw, Ingrid, and what I shared with you is you can actually solve the problem.
The part of the element is coming into harmony with yourself and learning how these work in yourself, learning the spirit part of yourself that connects you to Mother Earth and Father Sky and the planets,
Right.
the stars.
So you're here to accompany, and you're here to open the doors, and I think people have a hard time seeing, they have another image of the spiritual guide, right? A spiritual guide for them, it has to be this very a person that is very prolific with words and with his image and the way he presents his marketing, right? That's, I mean, any guru that is famous, just take a look at their marketing, take a look at their image. Their image is flawless. It's they're always you know, wearing the right clothes. They're always, their skin is perfect. They're it's like I learned that was wrong, thanks to me wanting to get in touch with Native people. And I learned that somebody that is really spiritual is somebody that is out, you know, out in the field digging stuff or planting things, and their hands are dirty, and they're not paying attention to, oh, or to their image, or to the eloquence of their speeches, right? have other things. They've learned other ways. I mean, that's the problem with the shelf system, with the money system, everything, and the packaging reality. So
Yeah.
let's break that package and let's see that this is the solution, that starting to walk away from the system is the only solution. And I would so much hope that there would be so many more Owl Freedom Nations out there, options for you to join and to do things, but there aren't. There really isn't.
Because there's an incoming flood. As we have said before, the Titanic has broken. People just aren't feeling the icy water yet. But it's coming, and people are going to want to know how to survive. If you listen to the video I shared you today, the 4 panelists that were talking, they kept reiterating over and over and over again that the Great Reset is happening. It is happening. It's right now, it's a vie for power of who's going to run the system. And what they also made the point of is what I've been saying now for the last couple of 2-3 months. There's nothing going to change unless we get rid of the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, right? Nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter who has the power. It's all going to be the same, only more and more and more control from the top down. So people are going to, our fellow Earth travelers are going to start wanting to know how to survive and live outside the system, because it's going to get ugly. I'm not going to make any more predictions other than that, because I don't want to put my energy to that, but I just know it is, because life as we've known it is gone.
Yeah.
And that's the point that these panelists that I was listening today with the video I shared with you today, they said that, and they're not even spiritual people. The pinprick is there. Life as we've known it is gone. Gone. The Titanic has broken, and it's time. It's like I said this morning in the video I uploaded to Vimeo about the ugly truths of TV, is it's time. There's only 2 choices now, life or death. And every day is, what choice are you making? You might think you're choosing life, but as long as you're living inside this video game being run by little boys behind their computer screen that you think are all powerful, they're not.
Yeah.
It's all tied to money. How can I live without money? Need money to buy things, but this is what reciprocity I need, doesn't need money.
Right. So you don't need money, people, to be free, and you just have to not.
It's a saying yes, tuning into your destiny, the destiny pact that you made with heaven before you even took on a human body, and then heaven conferred this destiny on each one of us with our first breath when we were born.
Tune in to the spirit of this message, and not to the packaging, not to the quality of the video, of you're not wearing some guru clothes.
I just came in from slopping carrots to the pigs and the goats and the donkeys and the horses and the cattle.
So learn to look from your heart, not from your not with your eyes, or not with through the screen, through the mesh of consumerism, through the mesh of what you're programmed to expect, but rather just tune into your heart and listen to what we've said and let it sink in and let it, and we're here whenever you're ready to step into freedom. So what do you think we should be next week's conversation, Ingrid?
Oh, we'll talk about the wood element, spring, the wood spirit.
Okay. So we'll be doing each one of the elements, of the 5 elements.
Well, yeah, we can talk about fire after that, because fire will be summer, but we can prepare for, we can talk, yeah, we'll talk about spring next week, spring, the wood element.
Okay. So let's do that, and we'll fix that, and we'll invite people for next week's conversation. Will be the 30th conversation. And if somebody wants to stop listening and start doing, or stop speaking and start doing, then you can contact us or contact Ingrid at owlfreedomnation.com. And you'll be amazed at now another thing I will tell them is Ingrid is not a saleswoman, right? And Owl Freedom Nation is not a business, and we're not selling anything. So don't expect, if you contact, don't expect somebody that is going to be really good at customer service taking your mail, or or getting back to you. If you abandon the conversation, if you lose interest, this is not a business. So there's not going to be anybody calling you back and say, hey, what happened to you? Did you lose interest? Right? Because we're not trying to sell anything. And that's so hard to get through, but because I do feel that some people get that, oh, I'm not being, they're not doing an effort to sell me, to convince me, right? And make that separation of that and being polite and correct and nice and attentive, because we are attentive, we are nice people. You are going to get some real communication, but you have to be convinced by yourself. You have to know what you want first. We're not going to be going after you, and that's how wisdom works. The Kybalion, that's the first thing it says is the wisdom is only for, or knowledge. I don't know if it says wisdom or the exact word it uses, but it says it's only there for those who are willing to hear, to listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's you have to be really willing to be free, to really reach that freedom. There's not going to be somebody behind you and telling you what to do, and I know that's how the system works. I know that's how school works. There's always somebody checking you, and there's a test. You don't need to pay attention really at the class, because all you need to do is pass the test.
Yeah.
So this is not the system. This is the real world, and it requires your full intention, all of your intention to manifest.
You know what I was contemplating? I remember when I told you that Dr. Bioldo said even the Incans in the high Andes are waiting for the Messiah, so the Savior, to come and tell them a new age has dawned.
Yeah, I didn't meet any Andeans that believe that, but okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I told you when he said that. I was thinking, yeah, you're so full of shit. That's your personal programming. But this is the problem, Julian, is I think the majority of our fellow humans are waiting for someone to come along and say, okay, it's time for you to stop doing things the way you have been and start doing it, because the age has turned. It's a different age.
And we're telling
it's
them
not,
that.
It's and yeah, we are actually. I am not a Messiah. Don't get. I'm not announcing myself as the savior of the world, but I am telling you, a new age has dawned. Life is done as it has been. It's time to stop living the way you have been.
Yeah, so there's that message, but then they want a messenger, but they also want a policeman behind them, like making sure they're doing what they want.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work. It's never going to work if you don't take care of yourself. If you don't take responsibility of your own destiny. Then, I mean, the system will do that. The system will send you notifications of everything you need to remember. It will send you a notification about it.
Yeah.
Every single, yeah. So no notifications here, only the truth.
Only living life, being and doing, spiritual, nature-based subsistence living.
So that's the invitation, and well, I think we can say goodbye to the live
stream.
And we'll see you next week, dear people.
Okay, so I'm stopping the live stream.